His ass is hanging out as he makes a break upfield. Stepping back. Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Cameron Munster's now putting his balls in Nick Meaney's face.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.
Wasted Water Sports Ahoy, welcome to your Sunday ticket. Vobsy, Ahoy, Gamer Mel, Ahoy, Jason Hamilton, welcome back, mate. Ahoy, J. Joe, Ahoy there. UFC only fans, Ahoy, welcome along. The final game of week 1 of the NRL Finals Series. It is elimination time again. The Knights versus the Raiders. One of these teams is saying bye-bye, and one of these teams can go and join Val Holmes in Party Central. Much like my Sharks did last night. See, that is the key. You set yourself up for disappointment, and so when it eventuates, you don't care as much. Oh, but God damn it, Vobsy, if they didn't start to make me believe throughout the course of that match. There were periods of time during that game last night, I really did think the Sharks might sneak it through. But I think ultimately it came down to that first half. The first half, they just didn't do enough damage. Yeah, you know, I've watched those replays back of the drop goals, and there's a couple of things that the Sharks can hopefully learn from this. Because when you think about the Sharks, they're still a relatively young team. A couple of things that they can learn from this. All right, now, given the way that Braden Trindle took that first attempt at conversion, I wouldn't trust him with a match-winning field goal for starters. But he is one of the general play kickers. Where was he? Even if they were never going to pass the ball to him, where was he back there to provide a second option? Which puts the onus then on Brayley as the hooker to go, okay, they're going to race up on Hines. They've already proved that the first time. They are going to race up on Hines. At least I've got a second option back here. I can dummy and go to Trindle. Also, Panthers, was it a grand final? I'm pretty sure it might have been a grand final. The Panthers sold the dummy, the throw back to the kicker for the drop goal. Everybody thought field goal. The hooker dummies, darts out and scores the match-winning try. That was an option as well. The Roosters raced up so fast. Surely Brayley has to be switched on enough to go, I could just take off here and try my luck. They are up so fast. One kick's already been charged down. This time, I'm going to take my chances. Just have a dart. There was no variety at all in the attack. They just went through the motions. It was a young team afraid to try their hand. That's what it came across to me. But anyways, we've got another elimination final here. Newcastle, who have been on a roll. I'm not convinced about Newcastle. They really haven't beaten anybody good during their run. And even if they beat the Raiders today, they still haven't beaten anybody good. I think regardless of the result, whoever wins this, I think gets absolutely spanked next week against the Warriors anyway. So you would have to favour the home side, but you just never know with the Raiders. The Raiders in finals footy are more than capable of pulling off an epic ambush. So this one's going to be very interesting to see. The Knights very quickly became one of my most hated teams towards the back end of the season. Hence why I've gone the green today. It's a good thing I don't actually use my green screens. Otherwise, I mean, you understand. This would just be non-existent. Shack of Heart says, yeah, I don't believe the Raiders will win. I just don't think the Knights are playing as particularly well as people think they are. They have dismissed a lot of they've dismissed a lot of low quality opposition in their run home to the finals. I'm not really sold on them being really any good. I suppose the big news for them, though, is Kalyn Ponga nursing a shoulder injury. He's going to be playing on injections. So that could be a big thing to keep an eye on. We've seen players play with shoulder injuries before, though. Jonathan Thurston did it once at Origin level. Cooper Cronk has done it in a grand final. As much as I hate to compare Kalyn Ponga to either one of those players, I'm only doing it as far as he's nursing a little bit of a shoulder injury going into the game. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it's all just a ploy as well. Maybe Kalyn Ponga's not really as hurt as they're letting us think that he is, in a ploy to make the Raiders think that they target Ponga with high balls and kick chase, and he's actually not hurt at all. And he's just going to go, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You fell for the trap. But it should be very interesting to see. We are getting very close to kickoff here. The countdown is on. The final game of week 1. Well, we know some of what's coming up. We know that we've got the Melbourne Storm versus the Sydney Roosters next week in Melbourne. And I'm sure that Swalihi will be racing the clock to be back and ready for that one. Vopsy says Cronk's arm was dangling from his body. Ponga has a scratch. Yes, that really was an amazing effort from Cooper Cronk. Shack of Hearts says 10-6 against the Sharks. Sebastian Chris sent from the field. Game over, 14-0 in the 12 versus 13 period. Mr. Ed's dead. Ahoy! How are you, mate? Welcome along there, Mr. Edstead. The last game of the weekend. I do apologise if anyone was waiting for the Rugby World Cup earlier this morning. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. You've been driving drunks from a wedding. Fantastic. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I was exhausted. The Wallabies did win and win quite comfortably. And England won and won quite comfortably in their game against Argentina. So I'm kind of glad that they weren't very good games, because they had the potential. Both games actually had the potential to be surprising, and they had the potential to be blockbusters. Both games really did. But yes, the Wallabies absolutely spanked Georgia, and England beat Argentina without even scoring a try. So I'm very glad that I didn't make an effort to get up for that one. Shack of Heart says if the Raiders hadn't played 31 minutes in the last 2 weeks with 12 men, I'd probably pick them, but I just can't be confident to take the underdogs. Vobsy says my English is not working today. It's all right, Vobsy. It's Sunday. Sundays can be forgiven. Sundays are a day where I barely function. If it wasn't the finals, I honestly probably wouldn't even do this stream today. Sunday is usually a day of rest for me. For some people, it's a day of worship. But bollocks all that noise. For me, Sunday's a day of resting off a weekend of sin and debauchery. Cheers. So I've got a couple of multis floating around for this game. I've put a very ambitious 6-leg multi pinned to the top comment. Shack of Hearts, was he sent off in the 3rd minute? Oh, wow. Okay. That makes a lot more sense then. Because I knew that they had somebody sent off. I didn't realize it was in the 3rd minute. Well, that makes the strategy... That makes it a lot more understanding then. Get into territory, take points. We're a man down. Into territory, take points. We're a man down. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The last time I recall drop goals being a strategy, and that makes a lot more sense now. I didn't realize that he was sent off so early in the contest because I didn't see the game. I just woke up and saw the result. That makes a lot more sense then. I remember it was I want to say it was the 1999 Rugby World Cup. Yanni de Beer and the Springboks went absolutely drop goal crazy. They pretty much won all their games with at least 2 or 3 drop goals in every match. UFC only fams, ahoy! How you doing, mate? Shack of Hearts says also helps the field goals are worth 3 no matter the distance in rugby. Yes, indeed. And look, I, for one, don't want to see that change because it's all part of it. That's what I love about rugby union over rugby league is the totally different ways that you can go about approaching a game, winning a game. And you've got to be good enough to counteract that, no matter what strategy the opposition throws at you. That's why I've always loved rugby union. There's so many different ways you can approach a game. Rugby league's a little bit more... Every team... This is... Okay, I'm going to make a very generalized comment. So please don't jump up and down and get upset about it, anybody. I'm purposely making it very generalized because we're getting very close to kickoff. And it's not something I really planned on talking about. But in rugby league, it's a little bit more, every team ultimately plays the same way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the strategy is pretty much the same. 5 tackles, kick. 5 tackles, kick. Very generalized statement. I understand. Please don't get upset, anyone. I love my rugby league as well. But what I love about rugby union is just all the different ways, the different teams and different body types, different shapes, sizes, skill sets can all come together and create just a game of human chess. All different types of ways to win. And that's what's always attracted me to rugby union as my preferred sport. The Raiders coming out onto the field. There's a lot of support here for the Green Machine. A lot of green jerseys there in the crowd that have managed to snap up tickets and make the trek down. And this should be a good game. As I said, I am not convinced about Newcastle. I don't think... I mean, they've played extremely well against the teams that they've had to play. But honestly, they've really not played anybody good either. Yeah, Shack of Hearts, that was huge. Caleb Muntz out for Fiji. I was so excited. So excited at the prospects of Fiji. I was so excited at the I've been calling for Fiji to defeat the Wallabies at the Rugby World Cup the past couple of times out. I really felt like it might have actually happened. Might have happened this year, but yeah, Fiji are going to find it very difficult without Caleb Muntz. The home team out onto the field. Vobsy says, Raiders always win week 1 and then lose week 2. We're ready to get underway. Here we go. Kalen Ponga with the kickoff. And this is it. The last game of week 1 of the NRL finals. Knights versus Raiders. It's too late for me to change my tip. I have tipped the Knights because you just couldn't pick the Raiders with any confidence at all at the moment. But we know that they are more than capable of an ambush. The 6-leg multi is pinned. Ah! Okay, god damn it, I'm sick of this monitor. The Raiders are charging upfield on this set of 6. This goddamn monitor keeps... Okay, I promise that before next season, I will have this goddamn monitor fixed. Pain in my ass, that damn thing. I fear for my... I think I said it last night. I just fear for my life every time I see that damn thing falling towards me. I know that it's on a monitor arm, so it's actually not ever going to get this far over that it's going to hit me in the face. But I fear for my life. Flashes before my eyes every time I see that thing just start creaking down. Anyway, that was a massive set of 6 for the Raiders. They went all the way upfield. And that's forced Ponga into kicking from inside the 40 on tackle 4. Putting the Knights under the pump nice and early. It sounds like an old boat. Oh, it's just such a... It's so painful. I don't know why it has started doing that. It's been fine. It was fine all year. And it's only really been the past couple of months that it's decided that during every stream, it's going to fall over. And sometimes it falls over during the night as well. Like, can you imagine you're fast asleep in bed and you hear that goddamn sound from the other room and that wakes you up? You sort of think it's Armageddon. 5th and last here for the Raiders. They're on the attack again. They have started this with a lot of enthusiasm. It goes back to Whiten to get the kick away. It's way too deep, and that'll be a 7-tackle set for the Knights. Disastrous kick from Jack Whiten. But the Raiders, the ambush... The old ambush is on. So I actually don't think that my 6-leg multi is all that ambitious. Whenever you go 6 legs, it's always a bit of a risk, of course. But it's a high reward also. But I don't think it's completely out of the realms of possibility that we see 4 Knights try scorers. Oh no, I've tried that, UFC. I've tried that. They are so tight. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility that we see 4 Knights tries and 2 Raiders tries. But we're about to see a Knights penalty, I think. There might have been a shoulder to the face here. Vobsy says, Whiten already playing like a Souths player. What do you mean, sucking? Yeah, I thought so. Off the field goes Puru. He's off for a HIA. Nice and early. Shack of Hearts, what have we got coming up in the Rugby World Cup? because we've only got the one game today, I've got plenty of time to have a rest in between. I'm wondering if there's anything worthwhile getting up for in the morning. Knights on the back of the 7-tackle set get themselves into range for the first time tonight, or today. Shape out to the left. Wrap around play for Hastings. Hastings falls over his own leg. That looked awkward. 3 games tonight. Japan versus Chile. South Africa versus Scotland could be a good one. Wales versus Fiji could be good as well. 5th and last. Kick in and take it out of the air there at the back. I would have thought was Rapana. He's appealing for a penalty. Geez, we saw that the other night. That would have been a penalty to Reece Walsh. Jordan Rapana doesn't have the capability of giving the referee those same puppy dog eyes, I suppose, and winning a penalty. Yeah, South Africa versus Scotland could be a good one. Wales versus Fiji. Be interesting to see that. I don't know whether I'll be able to get up for them because I've got... obviously, I've got to get up for work in the morning, so... Penalty here to the Knights. Oh, no, it's Ashley Klein. I've really got to start looking into these games deeper. Ashley Klein is just a horror. I mean, he sucks, basically. He sucks. Ashley Klein is the definition of a homer. It doesn't matter who it is. He favours the home team in terms of penalties and 6-agains and whatnot. I don't think he's necessarily biased towards anyone. He just always blows a homer. He's very, very heavily influenced by the crowds. I might have a couple too many Raiders in my multi in that case. I probably should have gone 6 Knights instead of putting any Raiders in there. Hastings out the back to Gamble. Now they've got numbers to the left. The Knights best feeds it on to Marju, and Greg Marju will score the first try of this elimination final. And there is one tick of the multi done. 6 minutes into the game. That's what we like to see. A tick off nice and early. And that was just a very simple wraparound play here. Tyson Gamble out the back to Ponga and Best. And who is that out on the wing there? It's Nick Kotrick, caught in no man's land. Nick Kotrick had absolutely no reason to be folding in. Tomoko had him covered. Tomoko had Bradman Best covered. And Kotrick just could not resist but to fold in. And that left Greg Marju unmarked on the outside. And that is an easy try for the Knights. Absolutely no need there for Nick Kotrick to be folding in. Bradman Best was covered. Here it is on the replay. He was taken. Tomoko had him. Try for the home side on the back of the penalty. Mr. Homer, Ashley Klein. Kalen Ponga from the sideline. It's hooking back. It's hooking back. It is right down the middle. I guess you don't need a shoulder to be able to kick a conversion. 6 points to 0. Newcastle Knights, elimination final number 2. The Sharks, of course, already gone. They can go and join Valentine Holmes and party it up. Melbourne Storm versus Sydney Roosters next week. The New Zealand Warriors await the victor of this one. And the Knights have just stamped their authority on this one nice and early. UFC Only Fam says multi is shaping up. Could it be another repeat of your Warriors bet that only just missed? Oh, if the bunker overturns my try scorers again, there is nothing I can do about it. Vobsy says, Bradman Best will score next. I'm praying to the footy gods. UFC Only Fam says, by the way, thank you for putting Berry and Curran in your multi the other week. Met them at the airport. Couldn't have been nicer, dudes. Would have been nice if they scored goddamn tries, though, wouldn't it? So I disagree. They could have been nicer. They could have actually come through and scored tries. Penalty here to the Raiders on the back of that kick. Ivan, ahoy, mate. It was just a little bit too easy, wasn't it? In all honesty. Oh, wait. Marker not square. Yeah, marker not square. Penalty to the Raiders. I don't know why they were just showing a replay of Newcastle. How are you doing, Ivan? Melbourne Storm versus the Sydney Roosters next week. How do you feel about that, Ivan? The prospect of that, the Roosters will be sweating on the fitness of Swalihi. No doubt. Canberra with the ball, 20 out from Newcastle's line. Can they strike back? Zach Wolford organising the troops. Maybe the best team wins, Dan. Well, it's usually the way it goes, isn't it? Dummy and going on his own is Frawley. Taken down on the fifth and last. Nobody was falling for that. Fogarty with the crossfield kick. Targeting Bradman Best. Bradman Best knocks it on. And it's going to be Raiders' ball. Raiders will get... Oh, he's calling knocked on against the Raiders as well. Who is he saying knocked it on first? Bradman Best knocked this on first, surely. Vobsy says the Cheese will put on an absolute masterclass of a performance. If he does, we should get the Cheese to do another message and see if he remembers us. I'll be like, Cheese, do you remember the wasted world of sports? From the scrum go the Raiders. Down the right-hand edge. And the Knights have jumped the gun. They're offside. Take the 2. Put some points on the board. Take the 2. It's right out in front. It's a gift, 2 points. It worked well for the Sharks last night, taking the points. Gamer Mel, ahoy there, if I haven't said so already. Which I don't think I have. Scrum down again here for the Raiders. Now they've created some space for Fogarty. 1-on-1 with Bradman Best. He can't beat him. They stay on the short side. Backing into the defence is the captain, Whitehead. Fogarty calling runners on the inside. Mariota is 5 out. Tackle 3. A few up the sleeve here for the Raiders. Fogarty out the back. Oh, through the hands it goes. It falls kindly for Schiller. It was loose, though. It certainly wasn't as slick as the Knights earlier. And now Whiten, playing in the centres, takes them on. They've caught them napping. It's 6 again. Pressure mounting here on the home team. Tarpany takes the tackle. They're midfield here, the Raiders. 2 metres out from the line. Points beckoning. Fogarty out the back. Space out to the right if they can get the ball there. But no, Tomoko can't get the pass away. He's dangerously close to the sideline. And the ball spills out from Tomoko. And it's a penalty. A penalty to the Raiders. Surely the Knights are on last chance saloon here. Surely another penalty will lead to a sin bin. We'll come back to that, Fopsy. We'll come back to that. I'm really not sure. I really don't know. Raiders through the hands they go. Whiten goes to ground. Ahoy there, Robert M. We'll come back to that one as well because the Raiders are hot on attack. I don't want to miss a thing here. Tarpany takes the tackle. 5 out. They stay on the short side. Down the left they go. Hudson Young, one of our try scorers. Come on, Hudson. 2 out from the line on tackle 4. Mariota goes on his own. He's over the line. Can he get it down? No. He's held up. He's claiming the try. It's going up as no try, though. He's claiming it, but we know these rugby league players, especially forwards, have a tendency to tell some porky pies. And Mariota, he's gone over, he's turned on his back. He reaches over, he's millimeters short. He's still claiming it, Mariota, but it's gone up as no try. Well, has it brushed a blade of grass? Surely it has. Surely it has there. Well, he's got his hands under the ball. I don't think you can give this. He's claiming it, Mariota, but it would not at all be the first time that a rugby league prop has claimed a try that he hasn't scored. I don't know what anybody else thinks in the chat room, but honestly, I think if your hand is on the ball, your hand should, technically become part of the ball. If that makes sense. I think he's reached over here, planted that down. I think your hand should be considered part of the ball. That's just me personally. But there's no way this gets given. Absolutely no way this can be awarded. Keith Kalama, ahoy there. Welcome along. They still have a shot at it, though, the Raiders. 5th and last, 10 out. It goes back to Fogarty for the crossfield kick. Pressure on Marzu. It's taken by the Raiders, and they're driven backwards in the tackle. Bradman Best is there. Bradman Best has just been in unbelievable form since State of Origin. Well, actually, Jason Hamilton, I said the same thing right before the stream started, or right as the stream started. But Shack of Hearts kindly pointed out to me, England got given a red card in the 3rd minute. For 77 minutes, they had to play with a man down. So, they actually played the perfect game strategy, and all credit to them. It made, because I woke up, I saw the score, I saw no tries, just all penalty goals and drop goals. I didn't realize they were a man down for 77 minutes. A red card in the 3rd minute. It made the game strategy make perfect sense. And honestly, credit to them. That's what I love about rugby union. There's all different ways that you can win a game. And so if it was a 15-on-15 match for the full 80, I would go, wow, how boring. But the reality is, England did what they needed to do to get the win, and you can't fault them for that at all. Argentina, no excuses. No excuses. Ill discipline. It must have been ill discipline. I didn't actually see it. Ill discipline. Surrendering a golden opportunity to get a big win in the World Cup. And so it puts everything in context, Shack of Hearts. Everything in context. And actually, it actually makes me disappointed I missed the game because it was it became a tactical masterclass by England. In that context, for sure. Robert M says the Wallabies played good. They needed to. They needed to because Georgia have improved. Georgia have improved immensely, but yes, the Wallabies, from what I can tell, dominated that contest. A penalty here to the Knights, which gives me an opportunity to have a look at a couple of these questions. So, first, because it's the easiest to answer, Robert M., who would you like to see the Warriors play out of these, Dan? You probably have to give it to the Knights. I mean, as I have said a couple of times already during the stream, I'm not convinced about Newcastle. They haven't beaten anybody good in their run through to the finals, but you can only play what's in front of you. And they've played what's in front of them extremely well. And I think they're deserving of going through, whereas the Raiders have more sort of limped into the finals, much in the same way the Sharks did. And Vobsy says, Dan, any idea why Hines didn't kick the first conversion last night? I thought he was injured, but he took every other kick after that. No idea. Absolutely no idea. I really don't know. The only thing that the only thing that I can think of is maybe because when Hines was injured, Trindle was doing the goal kicking. But then again, as soon as Hines came back, he immediately took over the goal kick. I also have no idea. Vobsy, I have no idea. I really have no idea why. A mistake here for Newcastle. A mistake, 20 out from the Raiders line. Oh, yeah, Jason Hamilton, though, that English team during the Johnny Wilkinson era had threats all over the park still. Johnny Wilkinson didn't need to do any more than what he did. As the Raiders now open it up, they're into space. Support was inside from Elliott Whitehead. It wasn't used. And the Raiders have gone and cocked this one up. Ah, what a goofy play that was. The Raiders were a chance there. Phoenix Crossland has never looked more like the Joker in his entire life with that blood around his lips. But it was on here. Whitehead in support. He's decided to hold on to it, pop it up. It's gone forward to Timoko. Oh, the Raiders have just lost a golden opportunity there. I would have backed Elliott Whitehead to just run over the top of Ponga every day of the week as it spills forward here. And now the Raiders will score a try. Schiller, James Schiller, scores the try in the corner. James Schiller, the man who is in absolutely nobody's multi, has scored a try in the corner. The Knights have come up with the mistake from the scrum. Dane Gagai into contact. Son of a bitch can't drop the ball like that at Origin level, can he? No, Dane Gagai doesn't make mistakes like that when he played for Queensland. But he just spills the ball in contact. Play number one. Hudson Young picks it up. It would have been nice if he went on his own. But he passes it off to Schiller. James Schiller. I can almost guarantee you he is in nobody's same game multi. And the Raiders are back 6 points to 4. Kick to come. That's a huge mistake from Gagai. I think it was Whiten who put the tackle in, forcing the ball free. It was indeed Jack Whiten putting the hit on. And the Raiders are back. The home crowd erupts in a chorus of boos. I don't really know why. Unless those boos are directed at Dane Gagai, that's pretty poor form. Fogarty from right on the sideline. It's holding its line. It's holding its line. It just shaves the near upright. And we are all locked up. 6 points all. Oh, is the ambush on? Is the Ricky Stewart Green Goblin ambush on? Or what? James Schiller, his first try of the season, and what a time to get it. 6 points all. Raiders, Knights. Knights get us back underway. This game, elimination final number 2, it is just starting to take shape. The winner of this, of course, will be travelling to New Zealand to take on the Warriors. The Warriors who will be hoping that Sean Johnson is back next week. The Raiders have got the tails up here. Big run. Is that Rapana? Rapana's up over halfway. On tackle 4. Tarpany takes tackle 5. They're 32 out from the Knights line. They've gone 64 metres upfield on that set. Fogarty puts it high. Marju takes it. He's close to the sideline, Marju. They're driving him towards the sideline. He does well to stay in the field of play. And the Knights come away with it. But they're under the pump here, Newcastle. We have not seen Newcastle under the pump for about 9 weeks. It will be interesting how they respond. They're not used to this. They're not used to a close game. They're not used to being under pressure. Things normally go their way. Short ball there. Saifidi, or is that Frizzell? Sorry. Frizzell backing into the defense. 5th and last. Gamble puts it into the corner. He's going to find touch. And the Raiders just sit back and watch that one go over the sideline. That is a very dirty window on the coach's box. Do they have cleaners in Newcastle? They're not doing their job. That is the dirtiest coach's box's window I've ever seen. "17.5 minutes to go until the halftime break. Raiders with the ball back and now winning a penalty. The Knights up inside the 10. See, this is all stuff that they've been getting away with. The honeymoon period is over, Newcastle. You got your home final. The NRL has got the crowd and the payout. They don't care about you anymore. That's the conspiracy theorist in me talking. The Raiders on the attack again, 30 metres out. More pressure here for the home side. Ponga is up in the front line. That is not where he belongs right now. If he is legitimately carrying a shoulder injury, that is not where he needs to be. Rapana with a short ball to Whitehead, and it's called forward. Forward pass called. Stephanie, stay funny, Steph. Ahoy. Stephanie says, go Knights. Oh, Rapana, can't believe it. Rapana is so furious. Spit. Actually, a big, great gob of spit came out of his mouth as he screamed at the referee. Ashley Klein there. He was so furious at that call. Forward pass was called, though, and the Knights hold on. They have the scrum. 10 out, Dane Gagai holds on to the ball this time. Sarcastic round of applause, everyone, for Dane Gagai. Dominic Young, the big giraffe. Jason Hamilton says Warriors will have Raiders next week. That will be a good one to see live for sure. Yeah, look, I think Knights or Raiders, the Warriors win next week. That is my early prediction. That it doesn't matter. I don't think the Warriors care which one of these two teams they face. Warriors will get the win next week at home in New Zealand. You've heard it here first. Wasted World of Sports. Bold prediction. The Warriors do not care. Either one of these two teams, they will have their way with next week. 6 points all, though, this game. Delicately poised. Oh, that's a big run. Absolutely charging over the top of Phoenix. Crossland. Crossland has gone flying backwards. He very, very tenderly is the second man into another tackle there, Crossland. Fifth and last here, Raiders. Oh, the knee crumbler. Thank you very much there. $5 New Zealand dollars. Oh, the Knights have let this bounce. It bounces kindly for Marju, and he returns it to contact. The knee crumbler. $5 New Zealand dollars says Sean will play with a cast on. Sean will play with a cast on. Honestly, knee crumbler, I think Sean Johnson, he might have picked up a niggle, but I think ultimately he was fine. I really do. I think he was okay. He probably could have played against the Panthers, but they just decided, let's hold him back and let's focus all our attention against one of these two teams next week. That's what I honestly think. They were on a hiding to nothing against the Panthers, weren't they? Especially when the Broncos beat the Storm. Once the Broncos beat the Storm on Friday night, that has thrown the entire competition into disarray. You've now got the Panthers, Storm, and Roosters. Three of the traditionally top teams. Three traditional heavyweights. All on the same side of the draw now. Panthers, Storm, Roosters are just going to knock each other off. I think the Warriors have made the right call as Fogarty scampers away on the fifth and last. Puts the kick in. Oh, Jason Hamilton. Mate. Dan Carter, greatest fly half ever. I'm throwing that out there. Not comparable at all. Dan Carter revolutionized the entire position. The single best, as there's been a mistake made by Dane Gagai. Dane Gagai has dropped the ball again. Somebody has switched Dane Gagai from origin mode to club mode, and he makes his second mistake. Dan Carter revolutionized fly half play. The absolute best. The only thing that stops me from clearly saying the best player ever and reserving it and saying the best fly half ever is because of the existence in the same generation of Richie McCaw. Richie McCaw, for mine, is the greatest player ever. Dan Carter, though, very, very close behind, if not on par, but definitely the greatest fly half ever. That masterclass that he put on against the Lions, I still watch highlights of that to this day. Dan Carter's demolition single-handedly of the Lions. Still the best performance by a fly half ever in the history of rugby. From dummy half, now the Raiders are 5 metres out. To the right they go. Fogarty through the hands and it's juggled. And now the Knights are away upfield. Marju, does he have the pace? Marju looking for a double. He's going to take on Kotrick. He can't quite bamboozle him. And Jack Whiten is there to save the day. Oh, against the run of play here, the Knights front foot ball. Gamble. There's gaps everywhere. Gagai. Gagai goes on his own. Dane Gagai will score in the corner. Oh, you could have given it to the giraffe. Dominic Young outside you. But no, he had to go on his own. Dane Gagai. He's made 2 mistakes in a row that he's decided, I'm going to do this on my own. Here we go. Dane Gagai for the corner. Hudson Young gets an arm in there. Oh, he's bounced it. Dane Gagai might have bounced this. Dominic Young was right there, ready to receive that pass. That's no try. This cannot be given. There is no way this can be awarded. Dane Gagai has... Oh, what a goof. What a goof. Dane Gagai with his 3rd mistake in 3 touches. Dominic Young was unmarked outside him, and he's decided to go on his own. And he has dropped the ball over the sideline. Dane Gagai, what have you done? Oh dear. He has gone and goofed up big time. Hey, would somebody mind posting in the chat room for Jason Hamilton to refresh his stream? I think he's a long way behind us. He's talking about the coach's box statement that I think I made about 20 minutes ago. If somebody would be kind enough to let him know that we think he's very far behind and needs to refresh. Dominic Young was unmarked on the outside, and Dane Gagai's gone on his own, and the Raiders are off the hook big time. And now they return the ball with interest. Whiten goes from dummy half. He's taken on tackle 5. Quick ball here. They're all offside on the short side. The Knights going on his own is Frawley. Puts the kick in. Ponga just gets the ball back into the field of play, or does he? Ponga has copped a knee to the face. Kalen Ponga's copped a bit of a knee to the head here. Yep, look at that. Square to the top of the temple. Kalen Ponga. Unintentional knee right to the top of the head. He's got headgear on, but Kalen Ponga's history of concussions. Short dropout taken by the Raiders. And now the Raiders are over the line. Can he get the ball down? Trey Mooney is over. Trey Mooney has scored. And the Raiders take the lead. Oh, for the love of God, the ambush is on here. The ambush is well and truly on. Ricky Stewart is so good at getting his team up for week 1 of the finals. Every single time they sneak in and then they pull off an ambush. Well, yeah, I've been saying it, Vobs. I've been saying it, Shack of Hearts. The Knights had a dream run. They really haven't had anybody all that good at the back end of the year. They've come up against teams at the exact right time. They actually had a Broncos Suncorp level schedule of Sunday afternoon games at home in the back end of the season. Which has led me to say I'm not convinced about them coming into finals footy. And Ricky's Green Goblins have just presented themselves an ambush. Long way to go in this one. Of course, but they're here to play. Jamal Fogarty with the conversion. I'm going to hop off, have a quick break when, when he kicks this. Fogarty, oh, he's pushed it wide, Fogarty, way wide. 10 points to 6 it remains. Back underway. That was a terrible conversion. They would have been better off letting Braden Trindle take it. At least if Braden Trindle hooks it to the left, at least it had a better chance of going over. The knee crumbler? No, I didn't see any of the UFC, mate. I was fast asleep. I've been fast asleep all day up until about 2 hours ago. Catching up on the Zeds. Fifth and last now, the Raiders. The wind is in their sails. The ambush is well and truly on. How do the Knights respond? I said at the top of the stream, the six legs, 4 tries to 2. It wasn't all that unlikely. The problem is it's just not been my try scorers. That's been the problem. It looks like we're going to get the 6 tries today. Oh, this spills out the back, and it's another mistake from Newcastle. Newcastle are just falling to pieces here in finals football, and Matt Croker loses the ball, getting up, trying to play it. It's like he laid an egg. Things are going from bad to worse here for Newcastle. See, they just don't know how to respond when things aren't going their way. This is not how things have been for them. And they don't know how to respond when they're under the pump. Rapana now beats 2, beats 3 Rapana. He's going cross-field though. Cross-field run. Needs to straighten it up. The Raiders just starting to get on top here across all the statistics. Rapana again. He's probably a very good chance here. Tux Bish, ahoy there, mate. How are you doing? The Raiders 10 out from the line on tackle 4. The Knights under the pump again. They go left. Waiting there is Frawley. They cut back right. Whiten now. Whiten gets it all wrong and has to surrender. Oh, you don't run behind your own player, Jack. He forgot who he was playing for a second. He was keeping an eye out for South's jerseys. The kick goes high. They're offside there, the Knights, I would have thought. But Bradman Best is wrapped up. Take it over the goal line, and it's going to be a goal line dropout and more pressure with 3 minutes 40 to go until half-time. More pressure for the Knights. And you have to ask, if Ricky Stewart can get his team up, Ricky Stewart can get his team up for finals games, where is this all year long? Like, they're a top 4 team if Ricky Stewart can get them up for it every single week. But he can only ever seem to get them up properly, good and proper, for week 1 of the finals. We were talking about it all week leading up to this. The classic Ricky Stewart Green Goblin ambush. And the potential of it awaiting Newcastle here. And here they are, 40 minutes, almost 40 minutes in. And they've delivered in spades so far. As Whitehead now pops it back to Rapana. The Raiders keep it alive. Mooney out to Whiten, and Whiten drops the ball cold. Oh, he's going to fit in very well at Souths, Jack Whiten. He has just dropped that under no pressure at all. And the Knights are let off. A big mistake there from Jack Whiten. Oh, Jack Whiten's going to fit in so well in that South Sydney backline with mistakes like that. And at the moment, all the power brokers at Souths are looking at each other, going, seeing that on replay and going, how much did we give this guy? Remind me, how much did we pay for him? Oh, God. We're already getting that for half the money. Knights off the hook. That was a real opportunity there for the Raiders. It really was. A minute and a half to go until the break. Oh, who's down in back play? Who is down in back play? Jackson Hastings. Jackson Hastings, is it? Jackson Hastings looks like he's busted a knee. He's only just come back from an ankle injury and now he's busted his knee, although he's getting a massage on the ankle. Oh, don't tell me Hastings has done his ankle again. I didn't really see anything untoward happen there. He's put his arm straight up, though, Jackson Hastings, in a world of hurt, clutching at the ankle immediately. Oh, this is huge. This is massive now. This is massive. Hastings, he's limping around in back play, but it looks like he's playing on. He is not able to put full weight on that ankle. Fifth and last, that's a shocker of a kick. Tyson Gamble has put that. He's kicked it off the side of the boot, straight off the side of the boot and into the grandstand. And this will be Raiders ball. And the Knights are rattled here. The Knights, they've had 9 weeks of everything go their way. The bounce of the footy, the referee calls, the schedule. 9 weeks, they've had everything go their way. And they just don't know what to do here today. The Raiders have showed up and they've put them under the pump. And so far, they're unable to respond. "30 seconds to go until half-time. And the Raiders will have last say in this half. Rapana to Whiten. Whiten puts Schiller in for a double. Oh, James Schiller. Nobody has him in the multi. Nobody. Not one single person in Australia, I can almost guarantee, had James Schiller anywhere near the try scorer market. And he's got a double. And the Knights, they are under the pump big time here. 14 points to 6. The Raiders go ahead. Conversion to come from the sideline. Oh, please tell me he's put that down before he put his arm over the sideline. Do not tell me he put his hand over the dead ball line before he grounded this. This is going to be an interesting replay. Surely he has not gone and goofed this up. No, he hasn't. Try confirmed. Siren sounds for halftime. Ricky's Green Goblins. We talked about it all week. All week we've talked about the prospect of a traditional Ricky Stewart ambush. And the Raiders have come to play. Jamal Fogarty from the sideline. He's had one from out here earlier. A Ricky Stewart masterstroke. Are we witnessing it in progress again? Fogarty moves in, strikes it, it's on target, it's over, and the Raiders lead at halftime, 16 points to 6. The Knights are self-imploding here. In front of their home fans, the Warriors are waiting on the winner. A traditional Ricky Stewart ambush in the making. We shouldn't be surprised anymore. We see it so often. But what an absolutely incredible first half for the Raiders. Unbelievable. 16 points to 6 at the break. A double for James Schiller. That's probably the most surprising part of this all. A James Schiller double. Dane Gagai with the Goof Award so far today. Dane Gagai, 2, just dropping the ball cold in contact, and then he completely made a mess of the try-scoring opportunity in the corner with an unmarked Dominic Young. A try-scoring machine, Dominic Young, outside him, unmarked. He decided to go on his own. He bounces the ball and doesn't ground it. Dane Gagai, the goof of the first half, for sure. 16 points to 6. The Raiders are here to play. Wasted World of Sports. I will have a quick break for halftime. And we'll be back to dissect all of that and preview the second half coming up after this. Wasted Water Sports halftime here. 16 points to 6. The Raiders. The ambush is on. The Ricky Stewart masterclass is on. And the Knights are under the pump here at halftime. 16 points to 6. What a huge moment in the game it was. Dane Gagai had the opportunity to score in the corner. Bounces the ball. Off it goes. Dominic Young was unmarked outside him. Surely Dominic Young finishes from there. I think Gagai probably tried to overplay his hand there. He'd made a couple of mistakes coming out of territory, and he really wanted to make amends, but he just made it so much worse. The Raiders go down the other end. They have the last say in the first half. Right on the stroke of halftime. 16 points to 6. They take the lead. Incredible. Plenty of time left, though, for just a 10-point differential. But the Knights, a shell, an absolute shell of the form that they've shown. Although, as I've said, I for one, and I felt like I've been the only one, was not at all convinced about their form leading into this. Obi, ahoy there. Izzy lost. Another great day for New Zealand sport. What have we got going on there, mate? Obi. What have we had happen there? Let's see. Rugby World Cup. Oh, UFC. The UFC. Well, there you go. Izzy lost the UFC. Big game shaping up in this one, though. Elimination final number 2. Who will be joining the Cronulla Sharks in elimination? The Knights or the Raiders? The Raiders have come to play. Yeah, I did actually see it, Shack of Hearts. I thought a red was pretty hard done by as well. I do recall seeing it. But good job. Good job, England. Did what they needed to do. Went on and won the game. $16 points to 6 here. The Knights, they just don't know what to do here, Newcastle. They're self-imploding. Dane Gagai has had an absolute shocker. Now, if you're Adam O'Brien, do you consider... How's their bench? Do you consider actually bringing Dane Gagai off? Hayden JJ Ashton, ahoy there. Easiest $6.40 odds on the Raiders. I wonder if Adam O'Brien seriously considers replacing Dane Gagai, because he's had an absolute shocker. Shakapart says, problem is I don't know the rules enough to apply or disregard mitigating factors in this instance. Well, it was basically head-on-head contact, wasn't it? Shack of Hearts. Hang on, I'll see if I can bring it up. I won't put it on the screen, of course, but I'll see if I can find it. Caitlin Cicluna. I hope I said that right. Welcome along, Caitlin. Dane Gagai is too old. Poor Dane Gagai. Here we go. Tom Curry, red card. I won't put it on the screen. I'll see if I can find it here. Let's just have a look. Because I haven't really seen it properly. It's just head on head. Yeah, a red card is extremely harsh in that scenario. Well, he was given a yellow. Okay. So he was given a yellow initially. It was reviewed and upgraded to a red, which I think is really harsh. So the Argentinian player has jumped and caught the high ball and is now coming back down to the ground. Perfectly timed. So he hasn't tackled him in the air. He's perfectly timed the hit. It's head-on-head contact. I call that incidental. That's the very definition of incidental high contact. The yellow card, in my opinion, is sufficient there. I actually can't believe that was upgraded to red. Now that I've seen it properly, I actually can't believe that that was upgraded to a red. That is insanity. Isaac Nigel, ahoy there, mate. Welcome back. Tide is turning around. The hot favourites, Newcastle Knights. Vobsy says Angus Crichton is apparently following Swalihi to Union. Angus Crichton would do very well in Rugby Union. Ed Vogel says Raiders for the win. They're halfway there, Ed. Halfway there. 16 points to 6. They have put on a fantastic first half effort. Hastings is still in the changing room, nursing that ankle. Hastings is done. Oh, that's huge. That is massive for Newcastle. Jackson Hastings has succumbed to that ankle injury again. Kurt Mann will be starting the second half for the Knights. The Knights are just busted at the moment. Kalen Ponga is playing with a tennis ball in his shirt over the top of his shoulder. Hastings has re-injured his ankle and is off. He is out of the game. Jackson Hastings. That's massive. Huge news there. Out of this game. Jackson Hastings re-injuring his ankle and he is done. Well, like I said, Vobsy, like I said, the conspiracy theorist in me, they saw the crowd that was coming out on Sunday afternoons to Newcastle and their dollar signs flashed before their eyes and they went, how good would a final be here? And they made sure it happened. And now that it's actually happened, they don't care anymore. It's like, oh, well, we got what we wanted. Who cares now? And now the Knights don't know what to do when they're not getting all the calls go their way. Michelle, ahoy! Yes, indeed. We were talking about it in the lead up to kickoff. We shouldn't be surprised anymore about a Ricky Stewart ambush. He seems to be able to do it. The traditional Ricky Stewart ambush. And it looks like we're on the verge of it happening again. Jackson Hastings out for the Knights. That's huge news. I mean, that is a big, big loss for them. Kurt Mann is more than capable, but Kurt Mann hasn't really been playing all year. Will, ahoy there, mate. Bit like the Broncos. They just want Broncos to win the grand final. Oh, I don't think they necessarily want them to win it. I think they'll be more than happy that they get there, though. I'll be more than happy if they get there, too. The Broncos do great TV numbers. They do fantastic YouTube streaming numbers as well. Every Broncos game that I cover does like double of every other game. And I find that increases even more when I take the piss out of the Broncos. McKid King, ahoy there. McKid King has faith in the Newcastle Knights. No, not only is Ponga wearing headgear, Michelle, not only is he still wearing headgear, he's also got an ice pack or something on his shoulder. It looks like a tennis ball. It looks like a tennis ball sized growth on his right shoulder. And speak of the devil, here he is, Ponga under the high ball, takes it in the end goal. And this will be a 7-tackle set for Newcastle. They just need to try and calm things down. No, number 14 is Kurt Mann. Kurt Mann has come on to replace Jackson Hastings, who re-injured his ankle. He's only just come back from an ankle injury. It's Ryan Pappenhausen all over again, but it's for a Newcastle player. Hastings has only just come back from an ankle injury, and he's re-injured it here today. He's had a Pappenhausen moment. By the way, Michelle, thank you for sending that thing through this morning, the Valentine Holmes thing. I'm going to very quickly switch over to the countdown so that you can see this. Just very, very quick. Look at this. Look what I used as the intro image. How good is that? How good is that? Knights on the attack here. Crossland, flat pass to Saifidi. Fifth and last Newcastle, 30 out. Gamble puts the kick up. The chase is good. Dominic Young's there. It's knocked on by the Raiders. 6 again. Here is a chance for the Knights. This is a big opportunity. Oh, now Dane Gagai's had a complete and total brain explosion again. He's thrown the ball at Hudson Young, and Dane Gagai, oh, he's got to be careful here. This could be a penalty reversal. I mean, there's nothing in it. He's just had a little soft throw of the ball at the face, but he's got to be careful here, Gagai. He's already gone and screwed up a try. He almost reversed a penalty there as well, to boot. He posted it on social media, Will. Yes, it's since been deleted, as you can imagine. But, yeah, he actually posted that on his Instagram. Caitlin says, how much is Gagai worth? Gagai would be on about 600, wouldn't he? I mean, I'm not privy to his contract, but he'd be on about 600, wouldn't he? 500 or 600? Gamble to Ponga. Ponga tries to go on his own. See if you can get a look at his shoulder and that tennis ball sized growth on the right shoulder. They look completely clueless here, the Knights. Croker just goes to ground, 5th and last. Man, dummies, cuts back in field, fires it off to Crossland. Crossland puts the grubber kick in, and the Raiders have it. And the Knights were just completely clueless there, offering absolutely nothing. Oh, Tyson Gamble's claiming he's been bitten. Jack Whiten's apparently a vampire. Although vampires have a tendency to bite the neck. We actually have Tyson Gamble appealing that Jack Whiten has had a bite out of him. Look at that, he says. Look at that. Teeth marks in my arm. Well, he's got his arm. To be fair, Tyson Gamble has got his forearm right in the mouth of Jack Whiten. Tyson Gamble has put his forearm inside Jack Whiten's mouth. What's he supposed to do in that situation? Honestly, if Tyson Gamble is tackling you around the mouth, what are you supposed to do? What is he honestly supposed to do here? What is Jack Whiten supposed to do in this scenario? Tyson Gamble has put his forearm inside Jack Whiten's mouth. What is he essentially meant to do right now? Do not tell me this is going to be a penalty. It's on report and it's going to be a penalty to the Knights. Are you kidding me? What is he meant to do, in all honesty? We all know that I am not a fan of Jack Whiten, but honest to God, what is he meant to do if a player comes in, makes a tackle around the face, and puts their forearm in your mouth? What was he honestly meant to do in that situation? Oh, it's not a penalty. Okay, thank the Lord above. Oh my God. I would have said if that was Tyson Gamble has actually put his... It should have been a penalty for a high tackle against Newcastle, shouldn't it? Because you can't tackle a man around the mouth. That is the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen. So Jack Whiten's been put on report, but there's no penalty for it. That's just Ashley Klein going, I don't even want to deal with this bollocks. That's essentially what that is. Ashley Klein's just gone, you know what? I don't even want to deal with this nonsense. On report, the match review committee can deal with it. Let's just get on with things. Newcastle ball, though, on the back of that set. That's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. There is not a lot to talk about beyond this game. Vossi? That's the new... Oh, straight through the gap now, Kurt Mann. He's got support from Ponga, and Kalen Ponga will score. Kalen Ponga scores the try, and that's one for our six-leg multi. Kalen Ponga has scored. That's one for our six-leg in the pinned comment up the top. That has not helped our four-leg on the main screen. Kalen Ponga and his tennis ball-sized shoulder lurking up in support. And the Knights have hit back. Following the biting scandal of season 2023. The Knights, they hit back 16-10. Kick to come. Now Kalen Ponga is sans headgear, Michelle. He's taken the headgear off. Kalen Ponga absolutely has the worst tattoos in the game. Rob G, ahoy there. How are you doing, mate? Conversion successful. The worst tattoos in the NRL, Kalen Ponga. Puts it over for 2 more points. 16 points to 12. 30 minutes to go in this one. Game on. The Raiders had a masterclass in the first half, but the Knights are coming back. You know what? I would actually love to interview Kalen Ponga and just say, mate, what's the story behind these tattoos? I mean, they're all just so random and terrible. Not a single one of them appears to make any sense. Can you shed some light for us, please? And now a penalty to Newcastle. Did a mate practice on you? Yes. Yes. That would be the question. Shakafat says, if it's a bite and it's clear, it's either just move on, don't penalise it, or it's off. I don't understand the stipulation of putting White on report. Oh, he just didn't want to deal with it, Shack of Hearts, in my opinion. Ashley Klein just didn't want to deal with it. I mean, I don't understand what was supposed to happen. I don't understand what was supposed to happen. Tyson Gamble had his arm in the player's mouth. If you put your arm in somebody's mouth, I think you deserve to get bitten. It might have been accidental, but what was Whiten supposed to do? Not breathe? Breathe through his nose? I mean, he could have breathed through his nose, I suppose, but it's just like... It wasn't like there was blood gushing out. He didn't have a big chomp. It was probably just a little warning, like, mate, your arm's in my mouth, mate. Fifth and last here, the Knights on the attack, 30 out, Gamble. Puts the kick in, it's taken to the back. Whatever seems to have happened, though, the Knights have lifted after the bite allegations. Sir Matthew, ahoy there. Kalen Ponga and Knights for final. Watching from Wewak, East Sepik Province, Papua New Guinea. I wonder how many of those names I got wrong. But yes, regardless, it has certainly lifted the Knights. Caitlin says those are the tattoos you get when you lose a drunk bet. Yes. Yes. Fifth and last, Raiders. Suddenly they're stuck in quicksand. Oh, and Ponga slips over his own feet, trying to return the ball. Kalen Ponga slips over his own goofy feet. But ever since that biting allegation, this game has swung. The Knights, they're obviously using it as motivation now as Frizzell loses the ball forward. Frizzell knocks it on. Oh, I can't even understand why anything was made of it, Shack of Hearts. I mean, I'm gathering there's a big screen there. There's a big screen at most grounds now. Surely we just look up at the big screen. If Tyson Gamble is any sort of credible human being, surely he looks at that and goes, okay, I was up a bit high. I got my forearm in his mouth. There's no blood. There's just a little bit of a dent where his teeth were. Fair enough. I was up too high. What was he supposed to do? Let's just all move on and get on with things. But no, he jumps up and down and kicks and screams like a baby that he's been bitten. There's not even any blood. Like, come on, mate. Through the hands now. Oh, the Raiders are slipping over. Must be a little bit of dew on the turf here, down this end of the field. We saw Ponga slip in a very similar position, and now the Raiders have slipped over. Fifth and last, they're still on the attack, though. Frawley puts it high. Ponga moves in, takes it well. Kalen Ponga. Best with the head up, 10 out from their own line here. The Knights, the Raiders are appealing for something, but it's a penalty to Newcastle. Are they going to challenge? Yes, they are. Jason Hamilton, ahoy. Have we refreshed the feed, mate? Are you with us here on the live? Are we still talking about league, or is the subject now Mike Tyson's boxing career? I wonder what we're challenging here. Oh, the Knights have knocked this on. Jacko Robertson, ahoy, mate. This will be a penalty to Newcastle for a strip. "26 minutes to go. 4 points the difference." It certainly wasn't a stripping motion, but he had hands on the ball, which is going to be deemed to force it loose, and this will be a penalty. Springboks versus Scotland, Jaco Robertson. It's going to be a blockbuster of a game. Scotland are my dark horses for the Rugby World Cup final, in all honesty. I actually wouldn't mind having a cheeky little bet on Scotland to potentially go all the way. It's going to be a tough game. Oh, Ponga goes straight through. He's got Dominic Young outside. Draws in the fullback. Passes. And Dominic Young will score. Dominic Young scores. There's another tick on... Wrong Young. There's another tick on the multi. There is another tick on both multis. As Dominic Young scores in the corner. Kalen Ponga. Ever since the biting allegation, the Knights have just completely switched on, and Kalen Ponga has just made a complete tit out of Jack Whiten there. We have got, incidentally, can I just say, the pinned comment here on YouTube. The six-leg multi, Rapana, Whiten, Ponga, Best, Marju, and Dominic Young, which is worth a 1K payout. Can I just point out right now that we have Ponga, we have Marju, and we now have Dominic Young. That's actually not looking too bad. Sir Matthew says KP is the champion and will make it to the top. Shack of Heart says, I just don't understand team's approach to Captain's Challenge. Oh, from the sideline, conversion successful. Kalen Ponga puts it over, tennis ball in his shoulder and all. And the Knights lead by 2. "24 minutes to go, and the Knights take the lead." So we've got, we just need Rapana, Whiten, Best. The semi-finals as it stands, Storm versus Rooster, Warrior versus Knight. Plenty of time left in this one though. Twists and turns abound, I'm sure. The Raiders, a couple of players out of the defensive line there. Vobsy says Andrew Johns is probably currently confessing his love for Ponga on TV. Oh, now Dominic Young's been put into space again for the Newcastle Knights. This would be game, set, and match. Dane Gagai lurking back in field. The Knights have just suddenly switched it on, and all it took was for a supposed accusation of Jack Whiten having a little nibble of Tyson Gamble's forearm. That's what it took for the Knights to spring to life, and they're running away with this one now. The Winchesters, ahoy there. How are you doing, mate? But the Knights now, Dane Gagai gets his try. He doesn't screw this one up. And the Knights are just running away with it now. Kalen Ponga has got himself well and truly involved in this contest, stamping his authority over it. Maybe a slightly forward pass there from Dominic Young back in field to Gagai. But it would be very harsh to call that one back. And the turning point in this game has become the allegations against Jack Whiten. Ever since Tyson Gamble got up and jumped up and down like a little baby, the Knights have just switched on. His team has responded. His team has backed his stupidity, his nonsense allegation, as Ponga now hits the post. And it remains only 6 points. 22 points to 6. 21 and a half minutes to go. This is still anybody's game. But the Raiders are going to have to stem the momentum fast. What a swing of momentum, says AFB OCC. Oh, that's gross. Dang, Gagai just clearing his nose on the field. How many random boogers do you reckon that the players pick up during the course of a game? And spit. Other players spit and boogers. So Matthew says KP and DG are 80 minutes game. Boys, Raiders must go. Go Knights. Maybe that's what they slip in. Oh dear. A big ghoulie. A great big ghoulie. Slip sliding away, says Mr. Edstead. A kick on tackle 4 from Ponga. Rapana traps it with his groin. And now is lined up by Ponga. Oh, I love watching Kalen Ponga try and put big hits on. I love seeing Kalen Ponga try and put a big hit on somebody. He always comes off second best. Jackson says lots of spit when they are biting each other. Well, there was, yeah, when Tyson Gamble put his arm up to the referee, there was a lot of dribble, wasn't there? But that's to be expected when you put your arm in somebody's mouth with a high tackle. Fifth and last here, Raiders putting the ball high. Now you're getting stared at for sharing his thoughts. Newcastle well on top in this one. Now Gagai's gone into beast mode. Somebody has switched Dane Gagai to Queensland Maroons mode. Oh, and they've switched Marju off. They've switched Marju into Dane Gagai club mode as he drops the ball cold. And here is an opportunity now. With 19 minutes to go, the Raiders might not get a better opportunity than this to stem the flow of this one and come back into the game. Tomoko from the back of the scrum. Here's the chance for the Raiders. Full set of 6, 10 out from the line. Tapani backs into the defense. Is wrestled down by Crossland very unconvincingly. Ponga, he was offside there initially. He got his foot back behind the line. Dummy in and going on his own is Frawley. You would barely know Frawley's been out there. It's interesting, the Raiders, they've got a more than capable 5'8", playing in the centres at the moment, but they've got Frawley out there, dummying and going on his own as Fogarty. Absolutely nobody fell for that as he's swamped by Knights defenders. Fifth and last now for the Raiders. That's gone quick, this set of 6. Frawley puts the kick in, cross field, tapped back to nobody by the Raiders, and now the Knights are away. Gamble's in space. Hudson Young, of all people, is chasing him down, and now offloads to Dominic Young, and that will be a try for the Knights. Once it went to Dominic Young, it was all she wrote. The Raiders tapped the ball back to nobody. Tyson Gamble did not have the pace, but as soon as that ball went out to Dominic Young, you knew it was game over. Glenda Abel, ahoy there. Welcome along. Glenda says, go Knights. And that will be the match. The Knights, 26-16. That will be game, set, match. Completely against the run of play. Almost the length of the field. Tyson Gamble didn't have the pace, but once it went to Dominic Young on the outside, it was all she wrote. He was not going to be stopped. The big giraffe. And Newcastle, ever since the allegations of the bite against Jack Whiten, this game was just completely swung. It was all Raiders. It was all Raiders. And then Tyson Gamble jumps up and down like a baby because he put his arm in somebody's mouth. And from that moment on, it just completely swung around. (26-16). Kick to come. Glenda says, please, Knights, one more score. Only one? Shack of Hearts wants a shot of Ricky Stewart. I'm surprised Ricky's not down on the sideline. The Winchesters misses Henny Penny Chicken. Yeah, the old Newcastle Knights Henny Penny. Who have they got now? Is that NIB? Bloody Doug last night. I've never paid so much attention to the sponsorships until Doug, the son of a bitch, pointing everything out last night. Now I'm looking out for the sponsorships. Like, who's sponsoring who? Back underway we go. 28 points to 16 in favor of the Knights. Raiders come down with it, though. There's still 16 minutes to go. But the Raiders have just completely gone off the boil. Jason Hamilton says Raiders friends are starting to get their duty-free orders ready. Is he still behind us or is he caught up? I'm really not sure. CPTA Australia, ahoy! Do you have 2 of your 4 legs left? Yes. Yes. Bradman Best, Dominic Young. I mean, not Dominic Young, Hudson Young. Sorry, I got the wrong Young. 5th and last here for the Raiders. Out they go. Oh, stepping inside, and that was just way too simple. Matt Frawley, that was way too easy. Matt Frawley. Well, that was just way too easy. There's still 15 minutes to go. I don't understand why there's not a little bit more enthusiasm here for the Raiders after that try. You would honestly think there was about 30 seconds left and that was a consolation. They're just like, 28-20, kick to come. Matt Frawley has scored. Yeah, surely the Storm Roosters get the Friday night game. Surely. Surely Storm Roosters, sorry. Storm Roosters Friday night, surely, and New Zealand would get the Saturday afternoon game. That would make the most sense. Jamal Fogarty, this is a massive conversion. It should be an easy one. And he puts it just inside the left-hand upright. 13 minutes 40. There is plenty of time left for a 6-point differential. Jason Hamilton says this will be a golden point game. Would love to see some golden point. $13 to go. Tiki Atutolu. Ahoy there. Knights up. 28-22. Plenty of time left in this one. CPTA Australia says it's still doable. Very much so. Sir Matthews says Storm will never win. Go Roosters. What was his name again, Dan? Son of a bitch. Tiki Atutolu. Now the Raiders through the hands. They're into space. Whiten can't free up the ball. Oh, he had an unmarked winger outside him, but he went on his own. He wasn't even looking, the great big galoot. But the Raiders are all the way back down here. 5th and last. 30 out from the line. Fogarty runs it. Running still. Fogarty beats 2. Whiten puts the grubber kick in. It sits up for Ponga. Ponga juggles. Comes up with the ball though. Ponga at the back. Oh, that was nearly a huge mistake from Kalen Ponga. But the Knights hold on. 12 minutes 20 to go. Plenty of time. It looks like the Knights are just shutting up shop a little bit here. And they're going to try and defend this 6-point lead. But 12 minutes is an absolute eternity. 12 minutes is a long, long time in a game of rugby league. They can't be shutting up shop and trying to protect this lead this far out. Ponga from outside the 40, straight down the gullet of Rapana. Rapana looks for support, and he gets it from Schiller. Schiller makes some very valuable meters upfield. And this is a decent field position here for the Raiders. Tackle 2, they're just short of halfway. 11 and a half to go. Plenty of sets of 6 to come. And a penalty. They tap. They go. Tomoko takes it quickly. Catches them napping. Timoko. Oh, he had support outside. There was an unmarked man racing up outside him, but he went to contact. Oh, the Raiders were in there. The Raiders would have scored right there if Timoko looks up and sees that man racing up in support, unmarked outside him. Oh, that was huge. That was the moment right there. The Raiders keep it alive. Rapana. Simple mechanics. Ahoy there. The Raiders, 5 out from the line. Sloppy play the ball. Slow ball. And Mariota just settles things down. Just to the left of the uprights they are here on tackle 4. They're still 5 out from the Knights line. 5th and last. 10 and a half to go. Plenty of time left. To the right they go. Fogarty. Double pumps out the back to Timoko. Timoko goes on his own. He's close, Timoko. And he's just a metre short. He is a metre short of the line. And the Knights' goal line defence holds on. Elliot Whitehead's blowing up about something. Newcastle ball. They've got to bring it out of territory, though. 10 out from their own line. Bradman Best. 20 out. The Newcastle chant erupts from the crowd. They have really closed up shop here, the Knights. 9.5 to go. Fifth and last. 45 out from their own line. Gamble it is with the kick. Tyson Gamble puts it into the corner. It's going to be taken on the fall by Schiller. And the Raiders will start this 25 out from their own line. 9 minutes to go. Boos for Jack Whiten. He didn't even do anything, you idiots. Honestly. Rapana from dummy half. Finds some space. Tackle 3 up towards halfway. Through the hands they go. Whitehead takes on the line. Pops the pass out. Now into space is Kotrick. Steps back in field and is taken on tackle 4. They're 30 out from Newcastle's line. Harley Waban, ahoy there. Oh, Whitehead now down the short side again. Fifth and last Raiders. 15 out from the line. It goes to Fogarty. Fogarty puts it high in midfield. The chase is on. The chase is on. They've let it bounce, the Knights. And Dominic Young taps it over the dead ball line. Dominic Young taps it over the dead ball line, and this will be a goal line dropout. 8 minutes to go. The Knights have just shut up shop, and they've decided that they will try and defend this game out until the end. Harley Waban wants the Roosters out of the finals in week 2. Harley, I'm a Shark supporter myself. I see the avatar there as Kalen Ponga goes short. But honestly, some stupidity from the Sharks last night. Some just honest-to-God stupidity. And now there's a penalty. It's a penalty to the Raiders. 20 out from the line. Shack of Hearts, there was way too long to go, wasn't there? Way too long. The Knights are captains challenging. It's a captain's challenge for Newcastle. Captain's challenge unsuccessful. Raiders put it through the hands. Kotrick stepping back in field. They're a metre out from the line. Tarpany in midfield. Just takes the tackle. Settling things down in front of the post. Here they go left now. Fogarty. To Young, Hudson Young. It'd be nice if he got over. How huge would it be if Hudson Young scored right now? 6.5 minutes to go. The Raiders, they're slowly starting to run out of time. Mariota, fifth and last. In front of the post, a metre out. They go right here, the Raiders. Fogarty, back in field to Rapana. Rapana beats one, loses the ball forward, Rapana. Newcastle's defence holds up. 6 minutes to go. Newcastle's goal line defence holds firm again. That is a huge mistake. That's a big, big error. 5 minutes 40 to go. 6 points the difference. The Knights, they took a risk. They shut up shop really early. There was still 15 minutes to go or thereabouts, and the Knights decided that they would stop playing and just defend this 6-point lead. And now a mistake from Fitzgibbon. Lachlan Fitzgibbon drops the ball in contact. And there will be more pressure here inside the last 5 minutes. Oh, golden point, anyone. Golden point. This game has just been set up for golden point. 5 minutes to go. Adam O'Brien is blowing up big time in the coach's box. He's up on his feet. He can't believe it. Five minutes left. Raiders with the scrum. Tackle one. They're 40 out from Newcastle's line. It's still game on here. Timoko. 30 out. Tackle two. 4.5 left. Golden point. Could it happen? Solo with the hit up. They're 20 out now. The Raiders, they're getting closer. Through the hands now, Frawley to Hudson Young. Out the back to nobody. Oh, it's been picked up by Schiller. Tackle 4. That was loose and sloppy from the Raiders. Hudson Young now takes them on. 5th and last. This is it. This is a huge play. They need a repeat set here, the Raiders. They need a result. Fogarty puts the crossfield kick in. Crossfield kick for Marju. Knocks it on, Marju. Greg Marju knocks it on and the Raiders get their result. 3 minutes 50 to go. Goal line dropout incoming. Oh, can we honestly say golden point? The Knights are just clinging on. Their goal line defense has been immense. But I still think it was a big mistake from Newcastle to just close up shop with 12 minutes to go. They go deep. It's tapped back by the Raiders. It's scrappy, but Hudson Young has it, and they start this set. 45 out from Newcastle's line. 3 minutes left. There will only be a couple more sets of 6 here for the Raiders. Time is running out. They're 40 out from the line. Through the hands they go to the right. Rapana. Timoko takes on Bradman Best. Bradman Best has he stood firm all night long. They're 20 out. Tackle 3. Fogarty runs across the face of the defense. Tyson Gamble races out of the line and shuts down his opposite number, Frawley. 4 tackles gone. They're 20 out here, the Raiders. Inside pass to Elliot Whitehead. Whitehead pops it up and there's the try. It's a try for Tom Starling. Golden point, people. Golden point. The Raiders have scored. They've broken them apart. And we are going to golden point. This conversion from right beside the post. Oh, what a game to end the week of footy that we've had. This one is set up for golden point. We called it immediately. Shack of Hearts and myself both said it. Shack of Hearts in the chat room, me on the live stream, said they can't possibly be shutting up shop here with 12 minutes left and expect to defend this lead. And now a conversion from right beside the post to square this up and send us into golden point. The Raiders have just never given up. Tarpany takes it to the line, gets the arm free. Whitehead draws in Kalen Ponga, gets it free to Starling. And this is an absolute gift conversion. Ricky Stewart's up. Ricky loves it. When you close up shop like that, Shack of Hearts, when you close up shop, going into extra time, it's going to be so difficult. It would take, in my opinion, a Raiders mistake, as the conversion is successful for Fogarty. The Winchester says, do you think people in Newcastle now when they sneeze say, Maju? I hope so. I really hope they do. 28 points all. A minute 20 to go. The Raiders will have to negotiate one set of 6 out of territory. Surely there is nobody that's going to screw this up from here for the Raiders. Surely. Ponga gets us back underway. The kick goes deep. And the Raiders have the ball. They have one set of 6 to negotiate here to send us into golden point. 1 minute to go. Newcastle may get one shot at it. Depending on how this set of 6 goes, they may get one play at the back end of this. Lachlan Fitzgibbon is on the sideline. You've got to feel sorry for him. It was his mistake that got Raiders the territory inside the last couple of minutes. You must feel sorry for him. .40 seconds left in this one, and here is a high shot. Shoulder contact to the face from Adam Elliott. Shoulder contact to the face. Penalty Raiders. 40 seconds left. Penalty Raiders. They are going to go down into Knights territory, and with 40 seconds left, they are going to have a shot at drop goal. The Raiders could win this before golden point. 30 seconds left. Fogarty puts it into touch, 40 out from the Knights line, and they are going to have a chance to win this game before golden point here, the Canberra Raiders. Never mind golden point. This one could be done in regulation time. Would this be one of the biggest self-implosions of all time? The Knights, from a 12-point lead, to throw it away here with 20 seconds to go. That's a big charge upfield here for the Raiders. They are in prime field position. They will definitely get one more shot at it here. Everybody knows what's coming. 12 seconds to go. This is it. In the pocket is Fogarty. He snaps it. It's charged down. 6 seconds left. Frawley's got to go for it. Frawley has to go for it, and it's a shocker. It's a dead set shocker of a second attempt. And the Knights come away with it. And we are going to golden point. Oh, correct me if I'm wrong that this is not the most exciting game of the year so far. Golden point extra time we have. Friday night was not an exciting game by any stretch of the imagination, Michelle. It was Tyson Frizzell. Charged it down with his ass. So, actually, here's a question. It was if you were there and giving it to them. No, it was a terrible game. I mean, I appreciate that you're happy that your team won, but it was a shit show of a game. This has been a great game. So, in the finals, is it golden point or is it extra time? Because they've got extra time up on the screen, not golden point. Knights are kicking off. This game is going to extra time. I don't know if extra time means golden point. 28 points all. Oh, what a game. Yeah, I know it's different. I'm asking the question. I'm asking what we have here. They put up on the screen extra time. Newcastle will be kicking off. Oh, the Raiders. They fought back. And now a big charge from the kickoff. Extra time, 5 minutes each way. Alice Jasmine, ahoy there. This is not good for the Knights. No, they let a 12-point lead slip. Jonathan Manson says, under the new rule, 5 minutes of extra time each way will be played in the event of a draw at the conclusion of standard time. If scores are level at the end of extra time, the game will go to golden point. Who are the Channel 9 commentators, incidentally? The Raiders have just rumbled upfield here off their set of 6. The Knights have it 20 out. Oh, this game. What twists and turns. So we actually play 2 halves of extra time? Or do we only play 1 half if it's needed? Like... Oh, Ponga! Kalen Ponga drops the ball on halfway! Yes! Yes! Sucked in, Kalen! Couldn't have done that when you played for Queensland. 2 halves regardless. There we go. Thank you, Shackhouse. Kalen Ponga's gone and goofed up. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. Scrum down here for the Raiders on halfway. And they will have the first opportunity to strike in extra time. Raiders ball. 25 out from the line, stumbling forward into contact. Schiller, wasn't Schiller, it was Kotrick. Anyways, here they go now, to the left. Fogarty to Frawley, inside line runs Whiten, and Whiten's taken on the 5th and last. 10 out from the line. Are they thinking drop goal here, Raiders? No, they are not. Oh, because it's only tackle 4. All right, now they might be thinking drop goal. 5th and last. No, they are not thinking drop goal. They're thinking crossfield kick. Pressure on Marju. Marju loses it out the back, but he's lost it backwards. Am I missing something as to why... I know it's not golden point, but am I missing something as to why we're not thinking just take the lead at this point? I don't quite understand that. And with a minute and a half to go, the Knights can just bring this out of territory, assuming they don't make any mistakes. They will be receiving the ball in the second half of extra time and will have an opportunity to launch an attack themselves. Although the Raiders will get one more set. Gamble from inside the 40 puts the kick down to Rapana. And Rapana... I don't know what that was. I don't know if he hurt himself or if he was attempting an early goose step there, Jordan Rapana. But inside the last minute of this first stanza of extra time, and I feel like the Raiders might have just missed a trick here. They may have just missed a trick. They were in prime position for a drop goal to take the lead. Tackle 4. It's going to be a long-range attempt if they want one here. Rapido dummies, cuts back inside. Now this is terrible field position for a shot. But with 23 seconds to go, Whiten is just going to pump it high. I don't understand this at all. Ponga moves forward and takes it. 14 seconds to go. He's knocked the ball on. Kalen Ponga's knocked it on. Oh, they need to set this scrum. They need to race in and set this scrum here, the Raiders. And they do with time off. And now here comes the drop goal. Surely 3 seconds left. A scrum 10 meters out. And surely you set up in the pocket behind the scrum. And Kalen Ponga has just dropped the ball again. Surely they set up in the pocket here with 3 seconds to go in extra time 1 and take the point. Here they go. The pass back to Fogarty. From 20 out, it's charged down. And the Knights again get the charge down. And that is the end of extra time 1. The Knights, for mine, slightly on top here. Slightly on top now, Newcastle, because they will get first use of the ball. They will get to dictate turns here. And the Raiders, I think, just missed a trick. And they weren't standing deep enough in the pocket for that either. You can snap a drop goal from 30 out. Fogarty should have been standing much deeper. They've missed a trick here, the Raiders, for sure. $28 points all, extra time, number 2. Andrew Hart says, change your undies. I don't really need to, but thank you for the suggestion. The Winchester says, you'll be getting on some fresh legs if you were the Newcastle coach. They're looking tired. Raiders looking more fit. The knee crumbler wants the Raiders to win, as they will be a better team for the Warriors to hammer next week. Newcastle with first use of the ball in the second half. You just get the feeling like the Raiders have missed a trick there. They had a couple of opportunities in prime field position, and they just couldn't make it happen. The Knights surely in the box seat here in the second half of extra time. Up over halfway they go. 5th and last. 53 meters they went. Gamble puts the kick high from 40 out. Schiller's under it. Takes it. Beats the first tackle, Schiller. And then slips over his own feet. Oh, Andrew Hart, a Broncos supporter. Ah, that explains why you're so terrible at trolling chat rooms. Not very smart, Broncos supporters. That explains a lot. The Winchester says you're free ball. You haven't worn undies in 8 years. Well, thank you for that information. We all needed to know that. Basu Mari says, I want Newcastle to win. 5th and last here. Raiders put the ball high into the corner, and it's out on the fall. And here is opportunity knocking for Newcastle. Fogarty puts it out on the full. And this is a big opportunity now for Newcastle. Oh, the Raiders, you feel like they really did miss their opportunity. The Knights are going to have this 40 out from their own line. The Raiders, it will require a huge defensive set of 6 here on the back of that mistake from Jamal Fogarty. Tackle 2 now. Knights, they're in territory. They're up over the 40. They've got space out to the right. Gagai can't get the ball free to Dominic Young, but he beats the first up tackle. Gagai, he's still going. Gagai beats 2. They are in great position here. Quick play the ball. Crossland to the line. Inside to Frizzell. Bumps off 1. Still going. Tackle 4. Do they go early here, the Knights? They do. It goes back to Ponga. Ponga steps. They've got numbers to the right, numbers to burn. They've got a 6 again, and Ponga loses it. Kalen Ponga's lost the ball on tackle 1. It's a penalty. A penalty to Newcastle, and that's the game. A penalty to Newcastle, and that's the game. Kalen Ponga has dropped it again, and Ashley Klein has given them a penalty. And that is the game. A minute and a half to go, and the Knights are about to take the lead by 2. Newcastle versus the Warriors next week. What a horrible way for such an exciting game to end. It really is. What a shocking way for such an exciting game to end. It's been so exciting, but what a miserable end. A gift 2 points with a minute and a half to go. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. What an absolute shame. It was so exciting. It was such a good game. And then it's ended on a miserable little penalty with a minute and a half to go in extra time. What a shame. Ponga puts it over. 30 points to 28. Newcastle. The Raiders, they must go short. Short kickoff, obviously, incoming. Obviously, short kickoff incoming. Fogarty must go short here. The Raiders, short kickoff. It's higher. It's not really short enough. And Dominic Young, it's out the back. It's out the back. It's loose. And the Knights come down with it. The Knights come away with it. The Knights have got the ball. The kickoff was not short enough. The kickoff was not short enough, and the Knights can just play out this last minute. He is warning them to not waste time, but there's no, what can you do? It's what happens inside the last minute of a footy game. As Gagai goes on a good charge. Tackle 3 here for the Knights. They might get one play at it here, the Raiders. One play. 5th and last. 30 seconds to go. The Knights on halfway. They just plug it into touch, you would think. Ponga actually goes on a run. Oh, he's got nowhere near enough field position here, Ponga. Time is off. 12 seconds to go. The Raiders will get one run to put themselves in position for a 2-point field goal. They will get one chance at it here with 10 seconds left. Well, that's not really the strategy I would have used, but that's apparently the strategy they've gone for here, the Raiders. With 12 seconds to go, surely you do one out crash ball, get up, play the ball quickly, and take a snap at 2-point field goal. Instead, they went wide, wasted the entire 12 seconds. And I'm sorry, but if you're that stupid, you don't deserve to advance. And Newcastle through for the right to lose to the Warriors next weekend. So there we go. Friday, 7 p.m. Storm versus Roosters. Saturday, 3 p.m. Warriors versus Newcastle. And the Raiders just not smart enough. Much like the Sharks last night. Just not experienced. Just not smart enough in the key moments of the game to take advantage of their opportunities. 30 points to 28. The Knights advance. Storm, Roosters, Warriors, Knights coming up next week. We once again have such an unbalanced final series. It's amazing how it keeps happening that all the good teams are on one side of the draw, and then all the kind of shit teams and undeserving teams end up with a gift path through to the grand final. It's amazing how that keeps happening. We once again have a really unbalanced final series. $30 points to 28. All right, we can all relax. We can all relax. Shack of Heart says, if in reality, if I'm the Knights, I'd be pressing the big red panic button because that shouldn't have even been close. Well, honestly, Shack of Hearts, finals footy is always a different beast, isn't it? Always a different beast. You've got to go up. You've always got to step up a gear. And as I've said, I was not convinced by the Knights. They didn't really beat anybody good in their run into the finals. I don't think that they were really traveling as well as people thought they were. So I think that come finals time, that game for me was pretty much on the money with where both teams were at. The Winchester says, I'm surprised Gagai didn't line up and smash Whiten then in that last tackle. J. Joe says, Knights just scraping through. Sir Matthew, go KP, and Knights, AFBOCC, this is the Panthers' title to lose. Well, in all honesty, it's been that way all year. It's been that way all year, but the Broncos, with the upset of the Melbourne Storm on Friday night, have made sure it's a very stacked Panthers side of the draw. So it's a very tough run home for Penrith. That side of the draw is now stacked, and the Broncos are pretty much gifted a guaranteed grand final spot. Shack of Hearts, I just don't understand why they went conservative in the hopes of running the clock out. I really don't get it either. They were on top. Like, they were so far on top. The Knights had all the momentum. They were just cruising upfield every set of six, and they just completely shut up shop, didn't they? And we called it at the time. We went, it's way too long out to be trying to protect this lead. Way too long out. They dodged a big bullet here, the Knights. Big time. Ales Jasmine says, is this goodbye for the Raiders then? Yes, this was an elimination final. So that is the Raiders season. Done and dusted. AFBOCC says, when was the last time the Broncos defeated the Storm at Suncorp prior to this past Friday? A long time ago. Long time ago. Baden 944. Where is the Warriors Knights game next week? It's over in New Zealand. Jude Cuddieu says, go the Knights. Will says the Knights will have learned something from this game. Finals is a different beast, is unrelenting. Yes, don't try and shut up shop. I couldn't believe it. I mean, they clearly went into their shell with 12 to go. And that was a very ambitious decision. I can't believe we are honestly still looking at this replay of the Jack Whiten biting incident. Tyson Gamble had his forearm deep inside Jack Whiten's mouth, like it was some sort of weird bondage pornography. What's he supposed to do in that scenario? Ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. I can't believe it's even still a discussion. Beta 944 says, who's winning next week, Warriors or Knights? I think the Warriors win quite comfortably. Quite comfortably. The Winchester says Valentine Holmes posted himself on social media with a bag of cocaine hanging out of his mouth. And for those who haven't seen it, just for those who haven't seen it, there was Valentine Holmes on Instagram with a baggie of cocaine hanging out of his mouth. Will Sean Johnson be back next week? Yes, absolutely. 100% he will be. They were resting Sean Johnson purposely for next week. I truly believe that. I truly believe it, that the Warriors did not risk Sean Johnson against the Panthers because they were on a hiding to nothing anyway. And I think, in all honesty, Will, are you suggesting, Will, that maybe, are you suggesting that maybe people fake things for social media? No. Basumari says Newcastle win tonight. They will play against what team next week? Okay, well, first of all, they did win tonight, and they will play the Warriors in New Zealand next week. Warriors versus Newcastle next week. What an exciting game, though. I'm so disappointed about the way that it ended. It was a terrible way for it to end. I mean, what an honest-to-God piss-weak penalty to give away at the end of extra time there and ruin the game as a contest. That was really disappointing, but that was an exciting game. That, for mine, was potentially the most exciting game of the weekend. Last night was good as well. That Sharks-Roosters game was pretty intense and exciting, but this one going to extra time and all, it was just kind of next level, wasn't it? Dark Horse says Warriors versus Knights. Knights end of the road. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think the Warriors are getting beaten at home by that Newcastle team that we saw tonight anyway. But as we said, maybe the Knights have learnt from this. Maybe now that is just a little bit of a wake-up call for the Newcastle Knights to go, finals football is just a little bit different, and we do need to go up a gear. So it'll be interesting to see. Very interesting to see. I, for one, cannot wait for it. Wasted World of Sports NRL Finals to continue. Week 2 is now official. Friday night, Melbourne Storm, Sydney Roosters. The winner to advance and play the Panthers in the preliminary final. Saturday afternoon, Warriors Knights. The winner to advance and play the Broncos. Where? That's right. Game number 6,479 this year at Suncorp Stadium in the preliminary final for the Brisbane Broncos. Wasted World of Sports, thank you so much for your company. As always, very much appreciate it. What a huge weekend of NRL Finals football. It's been exciting as always. I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget this Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m., the Old Panther will be joining me for episode 3 of the Generations podcast. Hope to see you here on the channel Wednesday night. But until next time, cheers. And, yeah, I've got nothing. I've got nothing left. I have absolutely driven myself to empty this weekend between the Rugby World Cup and the NRL Finals. I'm running on empty. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, cheers. His ass is hanging out as he makes a break upfield. Stepping back. Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Cameron Munster's now putting his balls in Nick Meaney's face.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.